Hey YouTube, it's me again, Cool's bro. And we have another thing here for you. We have right now its biggest flexes in anime, courtesy of Noxtaku. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, it's a big anime fan. Big anime fan. Yeah, but shoot. I don't know. So you got the Black Luffy on. The Wooden Dooku merch, courtesy of Internet City. They some good reactors too. I ain't gonna lie. They'll get a chance to check what they're trying to do. They got some good stuff. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, so we got the big anime flexes. And I ain't gonna lie, over time I see some big anime flexes. But let's see what this dude got to show for us today. Let's make this small for y'all. Alright, let's get into this.
In the realm of anime, there are many wondrous things. Things that can teach you about yourself, things that can teach you about life, and things that can teach you about friendship. But even more powerful than all of that is when an anime character flexes on everyone else. That's right, this is a video of the greatest, biggest flexes in anime, a topic only I would come up with if I do say so myself. So I came up.
Okay. Yeah. But like what I was about to say, the first time I saw Skinny All Might, or Sickly All Might, what some people may say, it was insane, bro. But this transformation from Sickly All Might to All Might, yeah, still solid. But every time he called for blood, I can't help but laugh at him, Dread. I ain't gonna lie.
With a bunch, and I asked you on Twitter, and I have hundreds of epic flex moments because it's something I never noticed is so prevalent in anime until I started looking into it. So I could literally make this a series with 1 billion episodes. Not exaggeration whatsoever. So, provided that this one gets 15,000 likes, the second episode.
Just 1 second. It's quality up. Second one. That's the highest one. Just select it into there you go.
Episode will be coming out within the week of uploading this one. That strategy never seemed to fail me in the past. I just realized I'm flexing on you that I got so many likes on my previous videos. I guess it kind of fits the topic. But in any case, without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the biggest, baddest, most badass flexes in anime. The first flex I want to talk about is something I feel like is immediately on everyone's mind, and that is Sosuke Aizen from Bleach. I mean, this guy's crazy powerful, he's strong and all, but the fact
I ain't gonna lie. You know, some people are gonna be like, how could you? How could you not? I never actually finished Bleach. Never continued. I remember watching it in the early days of Toonami back when I was in school. Watch like maybe the first couple episodes because he used to come on late in the night time. You know, all the time. You ain't be able to stay up late all the time. So yeah, it's a mess up. But we'll get into it though. But One Piece got me in a chokehold right now.
that before Ichigo fights him in the final battle, Aizen has to say, I have actually planned your entire life out before you. I was the one who set every opponent to fight you to make you at your absolute strongest, since I sensed you have the ability to be the strongest among everyone, just so I can absolutely squash you to show my power. Why, you ask? For the pure ability to flex on you now. His strategy, setting opponents against Ichigo from birth until this point to make Ichigo the pinnacle of human strength, is literally just to flex on him now, telling him I did that to you and now I'm gonna destroy you. How anime is that? Aizen has like all these brilliant epic plans, right? He wants to destroy the Soul King and take over the Soul Society and rule the world and whatever the hell, but also he had the time to set up this whole obstacle course for Ichigo to get to this point purely to show that he's actually stronger than Ichigo, even though he made Ichigo as powerful as he could possibly be. Aizen is the ultimate tactician, and this had absolutely, literally nothing to do with his.
That's crazy, dog. Do all of that. All them trials and tribulations to make him one of the strongest, but the strongest, I guess, out of everybody, except him. Dude did all this just so we can beat this boy to prove that, hey, yeah, I put him through all this. I make him the strongest, but he's still here ready for me. That's insane, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
his whole strategy, but it was still badass, and we love Aizen for it. But this wasn't the only Aizen flexing scene. When Aizen first turned out to be, the spoilers, traitor, and he was wiping out captains willy-nilly, Ichigo, with this newfound Bankai, with this epic theme song blaring in the background, attacks Aizen full speed. Aizen blocks the attack with a finger. I mean, Aizen could have let the attack hit him and do nothing. Aizen could have teleported behind him and slashed him like everyone else in the series does. But no, Aizen had to block it with a finger. Literally more effort is put into lifting a single finger than picking up his entire hand, but he just had to do that because that's the ultimate flex. So Aizen gets a score on the flexometer of 4 dabbing Soul Reapers out of 5. Next flex! And I have plenty more from Bleach, but I'm only gonna do one per series for now to spread things up over the next few episodes of the greatest flexes in anime. In Yu Yu Hakusho, there is a villain named Taguro. He is this big muscular dude with really cool sunglasses, and when he's offered alcohol,
I don't know if any OG Yu Yu Hakusho fans will that. One of my top favorite moments when they're fighting in the tournament was, I think it's Yusuke versus Chu. There's a dude with like a blue mohawk and like a leather vest with the fur on it. Oh, listen to me. That was one of the best fights in the whole series. His was solid fights. To grow was solid too. I ain't gonna lie, no more. But, bro, that fight was. Go look it up, man. I ain't gonna lie. Just go look it up. Go look it up.
instead, he asks for orange juice, which in itself is quite the flex, but what I'm talking about is more on the mathematical lines. When Taguro starts fighting Yusuke and says, "Ha, I'm stronger than you and I'm only using 20% of my power," you all knew I was gonna bring this up. That is literally flexing incarnate, and it totally went under my radar as being pure flexing until I started working on this video. There's absolutely no purpose to it whatsoever, aside from just basically letting his opponent know how outclassed he is. I mean, Taguro in his fight with Yusuke is growing in power constantly. Every time it turns out Yusuke's stronger than he thought, he's like, okay, now I'm gonna go to 45% of my power, 60% of my power, 80% of my power, until eventually he's at 100% of his power. He looks like a roided out train wreck. He's at 100%, they're fighting hard,
Yeah,
and then
that's when they put. Why he have all of that? Like, dude, I remember the first time I saw a video with 100% to grow. Like, you don't have to be that disturbing to look at to be that strong. Abomination from Hulk don't even look that disturbing. Then. Like, what is this thing around his neck, though? It almost look like, like when people go scuba diving and then that's the air hole, whatever you call it. Well, got a part behind it, but that's what it look like. I know these things are really good.
Taguro unleashes the ultimate flex of all time and says to Yusuke, well, remember when I told you I was at 100% of my power before? Actually, I lied, and this is only 85% of my power. And then he gets 15% stronger, which isn't exactly how math works. However, it was the ultimate flex. It's like if you're at an auction and you tell your opponents how much you have. You only have $10,000. And as the auction goes on, you say, remember when I said I only had $10,000? Well, actually, I had $12,000 all along. And then you eventually lose because the other guy has $15,000. That's what Yusuke did to Taguro. Very cool, Yusuke. Regardless, the flex was dope. The whole idea of only using percentages of your power in increments is so hilarious. Taguro, how do you know it's exactly 20% of your power? Well, I don't really know. I'm just kind of saying it to scare the crap out of Urameshi, and it's working. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the ultimate flex. Taguro gets a score of 10 woke god babies out of 12. Next, from Naruto, we have our bad boy, Kakashi Sensei. And this guy was fighting Team 7 while reading probably Dojinshi. He didn't have to do it.
I thought he's going to go and the modern fight. Bro, again, Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance will ever be one of my favorite moments in Naruto. This dude literally bodied the whole nation of Shinobis. Nigga, bro, bro. I thought he's going to maybe do it in another video, but like Madara might be the bad guy, but my favorite Shinobi.
He probably couldn't focus on it while casting all his different genjutsus and shiz, jumping around, laying traps and whatever, but he was holding it purely to infuriate them and let them know exactly how ahead of the game he is. Kakashi reading his dojin is just flexing on the little guys, and it's beautiful because while I originally saw that bell test as so badass, Kakashi's this epic dude with this cool mask who can even defeat Team 7 while reading a book. But now, after looking at it like this, he's literally just flexing for no reason. As a YouTuber, one grows to hate flexing because other YouTubers do it a lot. I don't blame them, they have a lot of numbers on their side, but hey, it's infuriating for the underdogs. And then you see Kakashi, one of the role models of old, just flexing on Team 7 the entire time, and it gets even better. At the end of the bridge builder arc in the Land of Waves, when Zabuza and Haku were both killed, there was still a bunch of ruffians trying to mess with the random villagers. Naruto wants to stand up against them and uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu, making like 5 Narutos. Very cool Naruto. And then Kakashi, who's like half dead, used a bunch of Raikiris, summoning jutsus, clones, Sharingan, everything. He's like, oh, I have a little chakra left, not a lot. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu Kakashi style. Makes like 4 billion Kakashis. It didn't even make sense that he had that much chakra. According to the lore, Shadow Clones take an exorbitant amount of chakra. Not to mention that Kakashi was fully drained, has way less chakra than Naruto, and has never been seen to do anything of
Real, cause I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for the 9-tailed fox, plenty of the things I don't think Naruto would have pulled off. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't make a name for himself. All did good, no lie. But let's be real, Kurama was up in them peace. I ain't gonna lie, cause if it wasn't for Kurama, he wouldn't have enough chakra to show all them shadow clones like what he was doing back then. No, no. He ain't taking no credit from him, but I'm saying.
that scale again. When he fought Pain after he was way stronger and he used 4 lightning jutsus, he was like, oh damn, that's like half my chakra. And here he goes, making 1 billion shadow clones after his fight, purely to flex on the ruffians that were bothering them. Not that he even planned on fighting them, just so there could be an ominous army of dudes to scare the living crap out of them, when honestly one would have been more than sufficient. Kakashi's a badass because he literally used his foreshadowed power of plot holes to flex on the haters, which is why Kakashi gets a score of 17 yeeting Genin out of 21. Next, from a little-known boxing anime called Hajime no Ippo, we have my boy Takamura. This guy is badass incarnate, and even if you don't like sports anime, I feel like he will immediately become one of your favorite characters due to the sheer badassery of this dude. I mean, Hajime no Ippo is largely a realistic show, and Takamura beats up a bear with his bare hands. God damn it, that's what I call a badass character. But I get ahead of myself because that may turn people off. In one of his fights, after vacating the throne of Japanese champion to enter the world championship, his first opponent is this powerful dude who I don't remember their name because, well, he doesn't fare very long against Takamura. And Takamura, a righty mind you, decides to beat him only using his left hand so Zawaldo could know exactly of his presence. Takamura doesn't just flex to prove he's more badass. He flexes even in the plot itself to scare the crap out of the world, and you know I'm serious because I said the world, not Zawaldo. Everything's on the line with every single boxing match. After a boxer loses, their chances of actually coming back, as well as how they appear in the world's eyes, drops drastically. It's a harsh environment out there. And Takamura doesn't give a crap because he just wants to beat the guy with his left hand to prove he could. I mean, he walked onto the ring wearing the bare skin of the bear he killed with his bare hands. This guy is not the brightest bulb in the box, but he made sure his first world championship game flexed on every other contender that ever existed. And that is why Takamura gets 6 anime boxers on fleek out of 7. You don't understand. Takamura yeeted his opponent with just his left. That's unprecedented. In any case, next, from One Piece, I really wanted to talk about Kaido here because he has some epic flexing, but I guess that'll move on to the next best flexes in anime video.
Speaking of Kaido, Land of Wano, those who ain't make it there, those who made it there. The Land of Wano had some of the best animated fight scenes I've ever seen in One Piece. Of course, it's from years ago, animation skills getting developed and stuff. But, bro, the fight with Sanji fighting Queen, Zoro fighting King, Dog, but even besides it, but just like the little fights was happening in between all of that, bro. But I ain't like the animation style. I noticed too when you see the animation style change, some crazy shit about to go down. I ain't gonna lie.
Want to talk about Mihawk versus Zoro, their first fight. Thank you to Spooky for reminding me of this. Very
And a
cool.
butter knife
Zoro
pretty cross.
claims he wants to be the greatest swordman in the world. He is an extremely badass dude. He's very powerful. He's very well known. And Mihawk is currently the greatest swordman in the world. So he figured, hey, I want to be the greatest. That guy's the greatest. We should have. Mihawk is currently the greatest swordman in the world. So he figured, hey.
Wait, a butter knife bigger than that. That's a pocket knife. This nigga pull a Swiss Army knife out across and sweat dog.
I want to be the greatest. That guy's the greatest. We should have like an even fight kind of sort of. Mihawk had other plans. He's just.
And on top of that, nigga name is Dracula Mihawk. Dracula Mihawk. Bro, that's a cool name. Dog name cool. Coolest swordsman at that time. Strongest swordsman. Still ain't see how he play against all right now. I mean, I think it'll be a close fight, who knows? But wait.
Sails around the seas in this tiny little rowboat while massive pirate fleets are freaking everywhere. And whenever a ship crosses his path, he doesn't take his little rowboat and go around the ship. Nah, fam, no. He slices the ship in half so he can continue sailing on his merry way through the ship, which by its own right is quite the flex, but it's nothing compared to what I'm about to tell you. Zoro has 3 swords, and as we know in anime, the more swords you have, the stronger you are, because that is what technique is. God, ridiculous. And Mihawk not only faces Zoro, but Mihawk has a massive sword. As we know, the only thing that can really beat 3 swords is a sword the size of 3 swords. Oh, God, I love anime. But Mihawk essentially fights him with a teeny little butter knife and outclasses him completely, annihilates him, slashes him across the chest. He leaves the guy eviscerated entirely, barely clutching onto his testicles for dear life, where Mihawk just had to beat him with this pathetic toothpick of a knife just to show his superiority. He didn't even view Zoro as an adversary. He didn't even make it seem like he was doing this to humiliate Zoro. No! It's like, oh, against an opponent as pitiful as you, this is literally my weapon of choice right now. And flexing nonchalantly without seeming to flex for the sake of flexing is truly the ultimate flex. And you will hear slightly more about Mihawk in my OP analysis on the guy, which may or may not be coming out relatively soon. Mihawk beating Zoro with his toothpick sword and doing it in a way where it made it look like that is how he wanted to fight, because it's just more practical to use the toothpick than to pull the sword off his back. It's like saying, essentially, I can defeat you with merely the bristles of my moustache. However, it's more convenient to use this toothpick. Truly a masterclass flexer, and I would rate him 175 epic Fortnite pirates out of 191. The next flex I want to talk about is from Fairy Tail. It recently happened. It was Irene, Urza's mother, versus Urza, Irene's daughter. Yes, this is very complicated family history. I suggest you take notes. Essentially, Urza's like, okay, you want to fight women? No problem, I can fight. And she switches into like 14 billion armors until she eventually picks Heaven's Wheel, which is the go-to armor that she literally always uses that literally only ever worked once, because as we know, an enemy attack only works the first time it's used. So she becomes Heaven Wheel mode, which we knew wouldn't work. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. And it's essentially Gilgamesh's Gate of Babylon. She's firing swords at Irene by the truckload. And of course, like anything in anime, it makes this big smoke cloud, even though it's just swords hitting pavement. But okay, smoke cloud, sure. And Urza lands on the ground and it's like, oh, I probably got her or something, you know, that all anime characters say after their attack inevitably does not work. And then Irene's like, wow, you're actually not bad, woman daughter of mine. She doesn't actually speak in this tongue because the dialogue in Fairy Tail isn't nearly as eloquent as mine. But not only did I avoid / block every single one of those 4 billion swords you threw at me, but I also had time in the very brief smoke cloud to arrange them in the shape of a flower purely to flex on you my ultimate might. That's essentially what the dialogue should have been, but hey, Funimation has yet to hire me. Low-key, I don't blame them. But I freaking love the type of flex where the character's like, not only did I dodge all of your pitiful attacks and also rearrange them into the shape of flowers, but I also had time to make my hair, have like 14 panty shots, brush my teeth, and also hit 14 of your pressure points. You'll never defeat me now. And that's what we got with Irene. Very cool. I would rate her 4 containers of Gamer Girl bathwater out of 130. Next flex! In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, somehow
I
Araki
definitely
managed to
get the JoJo.
create a narrative where every episode has a flex or 2, or 12. But regardless, this is my all-time favorite flex of JoJo's, and I think you will all agree. Despite all of the Dio flexes, despite all of the Giordano flexes, despite the flexes that every single villain in JoJo's, and there's a lot of villains, seems to do every 4 minutes, despite the fact that no one dodges Emerald's flash. Greatest flex of JoJo's hails from Ultimate Perfect Cars. Because unlike most anime villains who flex how they're only using 20% of the power, or how they had time to rearrange all the enemy swords into this beautiful flower, or even that everything that happened throughout the main character's entire life was part of their master plan, Perfect Cars surpasses all of that. Not only does he flex plenty by his own right, but the greatest flex in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is when the narrator flexes for Cars. First of all, obviously the peanut gallery is saying all sorts of amazing things like Cars is really powerful, there's no way anyone will ever defeat him, Joseph's only chance is running away and hoping that Cars changes his mind and becomes a good Samaritan. However, the narrator decides to take matters into his own hand because Cars just wasn't flexing enough. The narrator says, the perfect life form. First, invincible. Second, never aging. Third, never dying. Fourth, not only embodies, but surpasses the powers of each and every living thing. And he doesn't forget to mention that, of course, his body is as beautiful as a Greek sculpture, and that there's no way left to kill him. Thank you, narrator of JoJo's that flexes on the fan base. Very cool. Having your villain flex, it's JoJo building blocks. The main character flexing, the main character is not flexing in JoJo's You Have a Problem. It's when the narrator flexes on the fans that you know shiz is real. It's not your typical villain flexing on the hero, and it's not your typical hero flexing on the villain. It's when the narrator flexes on...
Why is some of these male characters of JoJo is like so? Yeah, why your tongue gotta be sticking at your mouth like that? Why?
On you! That's how you know you're watching JoJo's. Easily a rating of 10 meta flexes out of 10. Man, I didn't know how badly I needed that until now. Next flex!
So
Lord Escanor from the 7 Deadly Sins. Never ever have I seen...
I can never forget the very first time they show Escanor inside his bar. Cause I said, there ain't no way this nigga is one of them. Until the sun came on, let's do what show his true form. Escanor, you call him cocky, but that dude deserved to be like that, cause this fight is OP. Now, mind you, I ain't get to watch the last season, well, I think the last 2 seasons of 7 Deadly Sins, or maybe the last one. But from what I remember watching, like Escanor is that dude. He's that dude. When they ask for that dude, that's Escanor.
Any fan base unite so passionately over one individual like...
I hope. I think he may put the fight with Galan inside you. Galan, I think that's what he named, the red dude with the sight type thing. Yeah, that was to put a nigga in fair in his own game. Dude made the game, and you put him in fair in his own game. That's it.
With Lord Escanor. I mean, I guess I should be flattered, but whenever I start a new online game of anything, Nuxtaku is usually taken, but Lord Nuxanor is not, and I should probably not be saying that, but if there's a Lord Nuxanor, it's probably me. Until now. Now it's probably everyone else. Not the point. The point is, Escanor's personality, at least at first, is pure flexing, and it's beautiful. I mean, the first time we see him, Galand is laughing at his puniness, and he just like chuckles back at him, then slaps slashes him in half without even moving, where he uses this massive attack to just crush him, where Meliscula eats his soul and he burns Meliscula from the inside. But even better than all of that are every single one of his one-liners, which is in itself not only perfect for the situation, but also the ultimate flex. When he was fighting Esterosa, perfect for every single one of his one-liners.
This boy swing with all he might. And that dog. When I saw this, I was like, hold on. If that only do that to him, what is he capable of if that only do that little bit of damage to him? But I glad 7 deadly sins, top out of me. One of the top articles.
Which is in itself not only perfect for the situation, but also the ultimate flex. When he was fighting Esterosa alone, every time he spoke, I felt like history was unfolding before my eyes. Esterosa says that my commandment is the commandment of love, and anyone that harbors any hatred towards me cannot affect me. And he says, why would I hate someone weaker than me? I merely pity them. He has lines like, apologize to me that you were born into my world. How insane is that? It's like next level flexing when you're requesting an apology because you rightfully and honestly believe that you deserve one for that. When he's fighting Esterosa, Esterosa has this ability full counter where he can reflect all physical attacks targeted towards him, and Escanor gets slashed when he attacks Esterosa. Blood is actually gushing out of Escanor's shoulder, and Escanor looks surprised more than anything else. I mean, he doesn't bleed. And then Esterosa, you know, pompous bad guy style says, well, I have this ability full counter. It allows me to reflect physical attacks, and that is why you just took damage even though I didn't hit you. And then Escanor's reply completely destroys the little man that was Esterosa. No wonder it hurt me. I'd expect nothing less from myself, of course. It's not like you could have done any damage to me. It had to be me. And then when Esterosa starts getting pissed off, starts hating Escanor, Escanor says, don't bear any hatred towards me now. If you got affected by your own commandment, it wouldn't be any fun. And then Esterosa says, you're actually a pretty nice guy. And then Escanor smiles happily and says, of course I am. Literally every line is the ultimate flex, destroying his opponent. And of course, there is my all-time favorite among the infinite amounts of them, is when Esterosa is trying to flex on Escanor. Oh, big mistake, my boy. Don't flex on the Flex Master. Escanor is literally the Phil Swift of anime, saying, my darkness power has swallowed up your sun attacks, and also my full counter can reflect your physical attacks. You have no chance. So Escanor, he could have chosen one of the two, but instead he decides to use a physical attack too fast for Esterosa to even see, and therefore can't use full counter on it. And then increases his sun's power so much the darkness cannot cover it up, thereby negating both of Esterosa's attempted flexing, and says, my mighty attacks cannot reach thee? And who decided that? My blazing sun was swallowed up by a speck of darkness. Who decided that? The only one who gets to decide such things is me. And then Escanor annihilates Esterosa. This was all in just his fight against Esterosa. He has some epic lines as well. When he's fighting the King of the Vampires in the manga, it's not a spoiler, it was skipped by the anime. He's saying, in this realm, kings such as yourself are numerous as grains of sand, but I am no such thing. I am an existence unlike any other in this world. The lion's sin of pride, Lord Escanor. And that is when Escanor stole Zawaldo's heart as the overpowered king of Flex. Escanor easily gets a score of a lot of damage out of 5. Yeah, this was one of the most fun I've had with a video in a long time, because honestly, anime characters flexing is some of the most exhilarating moments and best experiences of watching anime. I love when the villains flex because it's terrifying, and I love even more when the heroes flex because it's the ultimate hype boost. Needless to say, the list goes on, and I have way more characters I want to talk about, and the biggest flexes in anime part 2, which will come out a week within this video hitting 15,000 likes. Let's see if you can pull it off again, fan base. And if you can, the next one will raise the bar to 20,000 likes, and so on and so forth, until eventually my stratagems will overcome your tenacity, and I will be victorious. So please like and please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. More will come. I figured this is a good place to end it, because You can't top Escanor. I am having so much fun making content. I feel like,
Maybe we
honestly,
could
that is the
reveal
best
something.
sign to content actually being enjoyable. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you had a good time. Don't flex too much, at least on purpose, because it looks way more badass if you're flexing by accident. And remember to stay weird, fam.
All right. W video. I know. That was good. That was good. Yeah. So, huh. I ain't gonna lie. The who? I hungry. I ain't gonna lie. They gotta go get me something. But W video from Nuxtaku. I ain't gonna lie. That was good for Joe. I was hoping he'd have put Yuzuru inside it, but I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, nobody asking all. That's good for Joe. That's good. But thanks again for tuning into this video, everyone. Hope to see you again in the next one. Excuse me. Sorry, that's what I mean. But yeah, y'all have a good night, good evening. Like I say, whichever time it is in your time space. Y'all have a good one. I see y'all in the next video.